And now, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nscdc, is a key security agency tasked with safeguarding public infrastructure, maintaining peace and order, and ensuring the protection of lives and properties. Over time, Nscdc has made notable strides in apprehending individuals involved in vandalizing government assets and threatening public safety. In today's segment, we sit down with the Nscdc Fct Commandant, Dr. OLUSHOLA ODUMOSU, a strong advocate for stiffer penalties against vandals. He shares insights on how stricter enforcement can deter these crimes and protect our critical infrastructure. Let's hear from him.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is saddled, with the responsibility of protecting critical national assets and infrastructure. That is our major mandate. That is aside from other, duties, which has to do with protection of life and properties, disaster management, registration and licensing, training of private gas industry. But right about now, what we're focusing on is infrastructural thefts in the FCT. And of course, as the commandant in charge of the Nscdc Fct Command, our mandate is very, very germane, in terms of protecting infrastructure. And if you have been following us, our trajectory, you realize that in the last 1 year, we've arrested well over 200 vandals. The reason being that they have become a menace, to the FCT, and we cannot allow that to happen. The vandals are these miscreants, the scavengers that we call Babambola. And I'm saying that because, in the field, we discover that many of them, they hide under the facade of being destitute, being homeless. You go out at night, 12, 1 a.m., you see them under bridges. They're not actually homeless, but the truth is that they wait under the covers of the night to perpetrate, most of this heinous crime. And we have been, following them up, and that's why we've been able to make such enormous amount of arrest. But of course, you know that crime and criminality has its own way of operation. While you, as a security operative, you're trying to nip crime in the bud, they are trying to strategize on how to always evade arrest. And that is why it looks as though things are not happening, But the truth of the matter is that we need to look critically into certain challenges that we're facing. Like, for instance, the issue of pan-taker markets. I've reiterated and I've re-echoed it in several fora that my experience on the field, when vandals are arrested, when they are being investigated, most of the times, investigation has led us into the pan-taker market. Who are the recipients of these items that are being vandalized and stolen? And then what does that tell you? It tells you that the pan-taker market provides already, market for these things, right? So for as long as there is a market, there will always be, once there is demand, there will always be supply. And that is exactly what we are confronted with today. Because there is ready market, these boys, they know that once they vandalize this manhole cover, there is a melting iron company waiting, iron melting company waiting to receive it. And cables and, street light poles and the rest of that has been the norm. So we need to look into this area, and that is why I told the Honorable Minister that there will be need for us to regulate this market. Regulate it in terms of the goods that are coming in and that are going out. I understand that there are some legitimate businessmen in that market as well, those who deal in legitimate products. But you see, the gross of those in the crime, level, has overshadowed those who are even doing legitimate business. Because pan-taker market takes all sorts of things. Even we've discovered that stolen cars are taken there, butchered into pieces and sold as scraps. So is that bad? So there is need for us to regulate it, and strategies put in place to serve as, like a blockade, to that market, so that most of these items don't get their way. Many a time we've even arrested trucks that are conveying scrap metals, and what you discover that beneath those scraps there are government properties that they vandalize on the road. So that's where we find ourselves today.
Thank you very much. That's explanatory enough. Well, sir, recently you made arrests as well of these vandals destroying these government properties. Can you walk us through the process of the arrests, how you went about, and how these individuals were captured?
Well, you see, it will not be easy and good to divulge your strategy, but that's like asking me to tell you my strategy. And the day you're going to broadcast, only God knows who is watching. So if I tell you this is what I do to arrest these people, they are listening. All they need to do is just walk in the opposite direction, and I won't be able to get them again. But the truth is that it takes a lot of effort to get these boys. They also, they have their informants as well, just like we have. And it has to take, like this recent one that we did, we paraded them yesterday. We had to lay ambush for them, for about 2 days and nights, and knowing fully well that they also have their informants. I don't know, they have the people that tells them that some people are there, waiting. So it was a cat and mouse game, but then we have superior intelligence, and so that's how we're able to arrest them. In fact, the last set we arrested with 2 vehicles that were on standby to cut away the manhole covers and the armored cables. In fact, in the process of arresting, one made way to escape, and in the process, we had to take a lot of effort to stop the vehicle. But finally, we brought them here. Altogether, about 7 of them yesterday, and it is still an ongoing process. We'll continue to arrest them.
Okay, are there areas in the nation's capital that are prone to this vandalism of government properties? Are there specific areas that research has seen that this is where they always ply, or this is where they always go to steal these manholes?
Yeah, majorly they concentrate in the city center, the metropolis, because that is where you have network of roads, the manhole cover, and the rest of them. So specifically, the city center, everywhere the city center is prone to vandalism, and that is why our patrol is not designated just one area alone. We cover, the length and breadth of the FCT. But it's just that sometimes too, they understand your strategy, and because of 1 or 2 maybe logistical challenges, in terms of, like if you look at the FCT, the city center, for instance, how do we police the city center at the same time, simultaneously? What that means is that we must have so much operational vehicles that can be at different spots at different times. But how can we achieve that? We have to make do with what we have in the meantime to achieve the result we have. But, if only everything that is needed, can be put in place, then that's where we can be talking about no vandals at all. But in the meantime, we just have to contend with what we have.
Okay, so what role do you think FCT residents can play to assist your agency and other security operations in this situation?
Okay, we've said it before and we'll continue to say it. Security is every man's business, everybody's business. We should not leave security at the doorstep of security operatives alone. You never can tell. You throw a stone into the market, you never know who is going to hit. Could be your family member, could be your neighbor, could be your daughter, your son. So if we say we are not concerned, we are not bothered, then we may just realize that something somewhere will happen, and the victim is a known person. So what we'll tell residents is to cooperate with us, security operatives. We are doing our best, we're trying, right? But when 1 or 2 issues, happen, you tend to hear comments like, they are not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. But What are you doing to help us? Information is key. Intelligence is very important. If you don't have information, you can't do anything. Yeah, you need to be informed that so thing is happening. Now, we've talked about areas that are put. Some people, they see these things happening, but they don't care. They just drive away or look away, right? Some of these vandals, they have storages, they have warehouses in some of our neighborhoods, in some of our residential neighborhoods. If you discover any warehouse that you feel that, these people, because for instance, if you see a warehouse where they are loading manhole cover, obviously you know that this one is not a private business, it must be for government. Or you see street light poles and the rest of them, it must be for government. And those other items that, you know, belongs to government, you see them, but you don't care. Tell us. And I've always said it, some people feel that giving information to security officers tend to put their life on the line, but it's not true. There's so many ways you can communicate. Like you can communicate with me anonymously. I don't even have to know you, but pass the information. So area, there is so we'll check it out. Yours is to see something, you say something, and we deal with the situation. So the FCT residents should please work with security agencies. Recently, there was a bomb explosion somewhere in Buhari, for instance. How did IED get into that place? One or two persons may have an idea, they may have seen it, but nobody said anything. But as we speak, life has been lost. So you see something that looks suspicious, talk to security agencies. It doesn't even have to be civil defense alone. Any security agencies close to you, because if you're thinking of selecting who to talk to, a lot of hazard may have gone under the water. So approach security agencies, watch out for suspicious movement of people, of individuals, suspicious bags, you know, and all sorts in wrong places. Talk to us and we'll deal with the situation. We need their cooperation, basically.
Is the Nscdc, you know, undergoing some sort of sensitization or public awareness rather with community leaders at all levels in order to pass this message across?
Yes, we are. You know, don't forget we have our divisions in all the 6 area councils, and of course we have our area commands as well. And our bid, our own parts as a command, you know, we know that public enlightenment too is also the key, you know, to getting people to I think. We have a platform, we have a radio program that we run every Thursday, and it has provided a veritable platform for us to reach out to people and enlighten them on the things they should do, the things they should not do, and how dear they should hold, you know, this government property. It's a collective wealth, collective asset. And when you allow some set of individuals to destroy it, what about you? When manhole covers are removed, there are people who can run into it, break hand, break leg. I heard that some family who ran into it, sometimes they had an accident. So the effects, it's unending. So it's something we don't have to encourage. And apart from that, it is even defacing the FCT, because some of those things had to the aesthetics, the beauty of the Federal Capital Territory. Who doesn't want to be proud of his own Federal Capital Territory like other countries in the world? But so we need to enlighten the people, and we are doing our bit. We will continue to do, like, you know, media is expensive actually, all right? But what we can do within our own limits, we're doing it. Our radio program is every Thursday by 10:30, you know, and that's a reach out program for us in the meantime.
Okay, that's explanatory enough. There's this call for stiffer penalties when it comes to, you know, people that are caught vandalizing government properties. What is your take on that?
Exactly, that's my take. Stiffer penalty. Okay. Yeah, I've said it before. Majority of these vandals that we've arrested, they are being recycled. That's how to say it. Because in my course of duty here, I've had cases where some vandals that I personally identified like 2 or 3 times coming back again. So, you know, when we arrest, we investigate, and then we prosecute them, take them to court. But amazingly, the penalties are not deterring enough. If somebody is caught vandalizing Hamad cable and all he gets is to go and sweep the market, it's not fair enough as far as I'm concerned. And some get as low as 2,000 naira fine, as 5,000 naira fine. This is an amount that is so convenient for them to pay. And the next thing is they find themselves on the street. So I am calling for stiffer penalty, just like every other well-meaning Nigerians, right? Because if we do that, if, for instance, those ones that I talked about haven't been arrested like 2-3 times, if they had been faced with a 21 years imprisonment, I won't have to arrest them again. So you see them with being arrested and they're coming back to the street almost immediately. So, but with a stiffer penalty, they'll be kept away for a long time at least. And then we can know the numbers that are on ground. But you see, it looks as though nothing is happening. That's why you see them they keep coming back. Because when you arrest, you prosecute, maybe out of 10, 7 are back on the street almost immediately. They don't have any other business. They go back to that same old stuff they do to survive. And that is how we are just, moving around in one circle. So for us to get it right, to nip it in the bud, we have to regulate the market, Panteka market, which is a ready source of demand, Secondly, this penalty has to be stiffer, so that at least it will serve as deterrent to others. When they know or they are confronted with penalties that will impact on their life, really negatively, they know. Because knowing fully well that you'll be out of circulation for the next 10 years, it's even deterring enough. So I'm in that school of thought that our judicial system should upgrade the penalty for vandalism.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Well, finally, if you have a word to residents, and of course, a word to these vandals perpetrating these acts as we wrap up.
Well, I can only say vandals are wicked people. They're wicked, they're callous, and I don't know how to describe them again, because, when you look at the kind of damage, they inflict on this infrastructure, is actually annoying. It calls for more sanctions. It calls for more stiffer punishment, because it can only take a wicked person. Look at how the FCT minister has transformed the city in a very short time. Look at the network of roads he has created. These are the same roads that these miscreants are vandalizing and removing the manhole covers. Government is doing its bit. You guys are vandalizing. It's an act of sabotage that must not be to continue. So we are not resting on our horse. Nscdc, Fct Command will continue to do what we know how to do best. We have reinvigorated our patrol team day and night as we speak. My men are out there. Any scavenger, any babambola they see, they have my directive to pick them up. And the same thing at night. So we have decided we are upping our game. The minister has given a nod for me to work, with the CP to regulate the Panteka market. And I'm sure by the end of the day, there should be a good result that will take us to the next level.